Welcome to the Feminine Alchemy Podcast, where we explore the truth about the feminine, the peaceful, the wild, and the visceral. I'm your host, J.N. Berenger, joined by my co-hosts, Julie Dean Richards and Kaylee Rose. Each week, we explore the deep mysteries of the feminine and help listeners apply them to their daily lives in a practical way. Join us to unlock the hidden wisdoms your soul has been waiting for. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Feminine Alchemy. I'm J.N. Berenger, and we've got Julie and Kaylee here. Say hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
It's so good to hear your voices again. It's been absolutely forever since we've all gotten together. We have not recorded a single episode since Julie had her baby. So we have been giving her space and time and ability to heal. But now we are back all together and I'm super excited for this. Oh my goodness. I've got chills right now. How about you guys?
It's very exciting. I feel like people are going to be like, wait a second, I keep hearing you guys' voices, but you're not there. You didn't record it. And we're like, we planned for this.
Gotta build out a good maternity leave for your hosts. So because it's been so long, we all kind of decided, let's do a reunion episode. Let's just catch up and see what's been going on in our lives in the last 3 months. So grab your tea or your coffee and let's just dive in. So Julie, I think you should probably go first because you have the greatest of news for everybody.
Yeah, well, I did have a baby, but I was going to make Kaylee go first because I'm actually nursing this baby while we're talking on here. So I'll let Kaylee go and then I'll go.
Right. That's fair. That's fair because my baby is asleep. So yeah, what's been going on in my life the past 3 months? I mean, life has been very interesting for the past 8 months. So I still have a lot of residual stuff I'm dealing with from my whole extensive DVT situation, my hospitalization after my baby was born. Things have improved significantly, but I do still have a lot of swelling and some pain that I'm dealing with. So we're troubleshooting, okay, where do we go from here? Are there procedures that maybe need to be done? Is there some alternative support that won't potentially risk my life or limb that we could go with? I'm working with a couple of physical therapists on lymph stuff and lymphedema type stuff. I've been doing some subtle energy work stuff to handle some of the more energetic and emotional things. And through all of it, there's been this up and down of hope and crashing hope and more hope and crashing hope that has been kind of painful. And J.N. and I talked about this a little bit at some point a couple months ago, where I told her that sometimes hope is incredibly painful because it can get dashed and it can get dashed over and over again. And yet it keeps coming back. And so I kind of came to this space of okay, hope is a little bit more than I can handle right now. How about a little bit of peace instead? And with that peace came a lot of just surrendering, accepting hey, this may be my life. I may never be able to wear the clothing that I normally would wear ever again because my leg cannot tolerate it. I may just have to accept that. And various other things that I just kind of had to say, okay, if it stays like this forever, well, not forever, but for the rest of my mortal existence, can I be okay? And can I be more than okay? Can I accept that? And it was really interesting. There was one point I was pondering all of this. I was in the bathtub. The bathtub is where my biggest breakthroughs tend to happen. And I was sitting there and it just suddenly hit me how much my body has been through over the past 13 years. The entire time of me having babies, essentially. And it just hit oh my gosh, there's probably only been maybe a year or two here or there where my body hormonally got to level out. And just recognizing wow, I mean, I had a grand mal seizure. I've had kidney stones. I've birthed 7 babies. I've had this DVT stuff. I've had so many certifications and trainings and things that I've gone through while either pregnant or with a new baby. And realizing oh my gosh, my body is absolutely amazing. I have nothing to prove to anyone else on this entire planet. My body rocks. And I've been able to come to a place of acceptance of the state that my body is in before, and even love for my body and appreciation for it, but it's never landed as deeply as it did then. I have absolutely nothing to prove. My body doesn't have to look any particular way. It doesn't have to function in any particular way. It's amazing, and it's been fighting for me my whole life. And now I can fight for my body by just loving and appreciating it and allowing myself to have the rest that I need when I need it, and allowing myself to be curious about what I actually need, because maybe it's not what my mind thinks I need. So there's been a lot of that going on for me the past 3 months.
I just want to say, like, I want you to keep going, but like, whoa, like, honestly, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge.
Yeah.
Not just for you, but you saying this is a really powerful experience for a lot of women listening right now, because especially for some reason, this very moment in history, we're so focused on being this perfect visual for the external gaze as the only function of our bodies. And what you just said, I bet you there's 100 women listening right now who can say the same thing or something similar, right? My body is amazing. I just went through how many births? I've done this. I've done this. I've done this. I've done this. And I didn't have to make it do that thing. It just did it. Ow. Yes.
Yeah. I also want to frame this. Of course, we have to bring astrology into this, because how can we not over here? But I wanted to say, along the lines of what Jayanne was saying, I mean, this is amazing. What an incredible thing that you have been doing for your body and learning, but also thinking about, so many people would be like, oh, my body's so broken because it had a seizure. My body's so broken because I had blood clots. Think of it that way. Like, oh, why am I so broken? Instead of being like, no, oh my gosh, my body is fighting for me. My body is trying to help me. My body has all the right medicine that I need. Like, everything is inside of you. And I just wanted to say, it's beautiful because Kaylee actually has her part of fortune in that first house of the body, which we've talked about before. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but do you want to talk a little bit about the part of fortune, Kaylee? Are you able to chat about it?
Yeah, definitely. So part of fortune in general, or my specific part of fortune, or
Well,
both?
just explaining to people what a part of fortune is, so they can understand the significance of that, and we can apply it to your first house.
Yeah, definitely. So the part of fortune is a mathematical point that it's calculated from the position of the sun and the moon, like your sun and your moon. And it can be this sensitive point in the chart that's like, okay, here's your treasure on earth. Here's where you can co-create with your higher power in a way that is just astonishing. Here's this gift for you if you're willing to tap into it, especially consciously. So my part of fortune is conjunct my ascendant. And for the longest time, I was like, I don't see this. I don't see how this is playing out in my life. I don't see how there's treasure in how I show up and how people perceive me, because I feel like I'm super socially awkward and I'm hard to get to know and blah, 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 all these stories. And it wasn't until I was talking to Julie about it that she made me realize something. I have received some amazing gifts related to my body. Like, I can't say I've had near-death experiences, but I've had near-death experiences in the plural. And it's been scary, yes, but also every single time it's happened, my body has pulled through for me. And I have had amazing transformations on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, in some ways on a physical level. So in a lot of ways, now I'm able to recognize, like, oh, wait a minute, there is treasure in my actual body and how I'm showing up in the world. And if I'm willing to look into that a little deeper, willing to sit with it, willing to be more conscious of it, I wonder what else could flow into my life as this treasure, and a way for me to be a treasure to other people through my body and how I experience my body.
Yeah, and look at that story now, how like you're able to affect hundreds of women, people who are going to listen to this podcast and listen to your voice and hear your story and just be blessed by this knowledge of seeing you go through what you've gone through and love your body. Like, actually love your body, which I think is so needed, and it's so tied to the feminine. Like, if we're going to be real about being feminine, we have to love our bodies first, which is such a trial, I think, for every woman, every person on the planet. And it's just beautiful to see this unfolding and this reframing to help people see like your body is not trying to hurt you. Your body's not this messed up thing that's like, oh no, I am trying to mess up your life by breaking and doing this and giving you seizures. Your body is an amazing thing that's doing these things so that you can live, like to help you live and survive. And because it's wise, your body has so much wisdom. And so, like, I know you've talked about this with your seizure before, just the idea that you felt like that seizure was a somatic release, like your body was being wise and smart and allowing you to completely release so many things you needed to. And it set you up, not to be too philosophical, but like on a higher plane, on a higher ability to, do things and sort things out and go on your life's mission. So I think that's pretty beautiful.
So true. All of this is so good. It's so fun that we just sit down and start talking, and the stuff that starts coming out is all in alignment. I have some body stuff. I'm sure Julie has some body stuff, having just had a baby. And this is like step one. Love your body, wherever it is, whatever it's doing. Yeah. What else has been going on for you, Kaylee?
I have been doing so much research about topics related to resonant astrology, related to masculine and feminine energy in astrology, and my mind is getting blown again. I'm super, super excited to talk about these things a little bit more in depth, but I'm saving most of it for my belated birthday episode. So we're going to have so much fun during that. Just, it's astonishing to me how much what's going on in the heavens, how much what's going on planetarily is mirroring back for us what we're experiencing as human beings. Even the fact that we went not to the moon, but around the moon for the first time in a long time just recently feels so, so poignant. Yesterday, my kids and I watched the splashdown of the Artemis 2 crew. And it just hit me like, oh, we saw the dark side of the moon. There are pictures of it. We saw Earth set. We saw the moon eclipse the sun from the perspective of right by the moon. And it's making me really ponder what things about the feminine and the hidden aspects of the feminine have been coming forward and are going to come forward. Because absolutely, astronomical advancements mirror psychological and physical and social advancements in humanity, up-leveling, if you will. And there's connection with the astrology there. It's like the bridge between the astronomy and the human being.
That is so fascinating that we did. I didn't see it. Like, it wasn't even on my radar. And then they were like, oh, pictures from the other side of the moon. And I was like, what? No one told me they were doing this. Why wasn't I informed? I need to know about all trips to the moon. No, I don't. But I felt a little offended that they didn't tell me.
It needed to be announced from the rooftops.
Yeah, I never have been, but I've been pretty up on the news lately. Like, I should have known. But anyways, yeah, and they went to the moon, which is the feminine right there, right? So cool. I can't wait to hear your episode. Oh my gosh.
I know. Sorry to tease you all so much. It's got to go. All together is going to be amazing.
So what else? What else have you been doing? What have you been up to?
Yeah, lots of research, and we've been rearranging our entire house because we're crazy like that. We pick sometimes the worst times to do big projects like that because it just feels like we've got to shake up all the things. So my house is in total upheaval, and it's been interesting to observe my nervous system mirroring that and being in upheaval, and then being able to be reminded of these somatic tools. Like, what it's like to sit with a sensation and witness it and not try to fix it and not dissociate from it, but also not get overwhelmed by it. Now, are you going to use those? Like, are you really going to use those? And having that refresher, like, life is reminding me of what I already have and what I already know that I've allowed myself to kind of forget for a season. And I think that's really beautiful. It's made me realize, like, oh, I need to teach this more to my children. Like, yeah, they'll absorb some of it from observing me, but I want to have actual conversations and experiences more with my children about what it is to be human. And that includes, like, how do we care for our nervous systems? How do we engage with our bodies in a way that's honoring of the wisdom that's in our bodies instead of trying to override it with our minds, but also not discounting our minds? So we homeschool, as a lot of you listening probably know at this point, but maybe not all of you. It's just been hitting me like, I want to have not a course necessarily, but like a period of time every day with my kids where it's like, okay, this is being human. We're going to talk about and experience the things that are being human, like caring for our nervous systems, connecting with nature and the natural cycles in our bodies and around us, learning how to communicate, because that was not something that was super focused on when I was growing up. It just kind of happened. You just kind of communicated and hoped it went well. So all these things related to how do we be human? How do we have grace for ourselves and other people, and also have boundaries so that we're not melting into other people? And those have been themes that have been coming up a lot for me just the past couple of months, and realizing this is a legacy that I want to leave for my children.
I love this. I love this. So good. All right. Are we ready to move forward to Julie?
Kaylee, I wanted to say that is beautiful. What a beautiful thing to want to do for your kids. And I'm like, yes, that's what I need to do. That's what I want to do for my kids. Help them feel like they're, human. And I feel like I've just been living in it and doing a lot of observing in this postpartum period, and, just having to really slow down and look at myself, and has taught me a lot of similar lessons. I think something must be happening in the stars that we're learning a lot of body lessons and things recently. And all of that has been going on as I think the nodes are making their last push through Virgo and Pisces and doing all that stuff. I think that's beautiful. Where's Hygeia right now? Does anyone know where Hygeia is?
First degree of Cancer.
Oh, Cancer. Oh, all the feels.
Yeah.
All the feels about the body. That's great. That's perfect. So yes, I had a baby. I will start with that because that story is like so crazy. And I'll tell everyone, you're allowed to laugh at this story when you listen to it. Because as Kaylee and Jan know, it is very much like a comedy of mishaps that just happened to happen during this time. One thing that helped me most, I just have to put this out there for anyone who will have babies in the future and listen to this, is the thing that helped me the most through my travels. All last year was crazy, traveling so much. I was so burnt out by the time that we got to the place where we were going to birth and where we were going to settle down. My body was incredibly burnt out. I remember being my third trimester, talking to my sisters and just being like, I don't know if I can do this for 10 more weeks. I don't know if I have that in me. I feel so physically, depleted, and I feel like I have too much fluid, and my hips are, all from sitting in the car for so many hours this time around, just like so much stuff going on. And, one of my sister-in-laws, Cassidy, she was just like, have you been doing any prenatal yoga? Like, tap into that. And I'm like, you know what? I need to do that. I need to get into actually exercising, because even though it feels like death in the beginning, I know it's going to help me eventually. So I started doing prenatal yoga every single day. I started doing weightlifting with it, like prenatal weightlifting and strength training. That was the best decision I made my entire pregnancy. It was the best thing that I did. It stopped the fluid. One thing I will say, and this is another health thing, because, there are so many health trends that get passed around, like do this, do that, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. And I think saunas are one of those. I think saunas are amazing and they can be great for you. But if you're already dehydrated, they will drain you of everything you have. You can't do saunas and this cold plunging business if your body is not in a good state and your nervous system's not in a good state. The sauna is easier on your nervous system, but it's very hard on letting all your minerals and things like that. And so I had been sauning because there was a sauna at the place that we were staying. So for people who don't know, we were staying in our RV on this land, and on this land it has a clubhouse area that has bathrooms and things like that. We're pretty much the only people staying on this land. It's pretty private, and they had a sauna and a cold plunge there. I would work out and then I'd go in the sauna and then I'd shower. I realized during that time my fluid got worse. The fluid in my stomach, I started gaining more fluid. I was feeling worse. I was like, what's going on? And I was actually talking to Allie, and she's like, wow, I wonder if you're so dehydrated that your body's just holding on to every ounce of water. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, light bulb. Holy cow. I need to be like even softer with my body. Just like another lesson. Like, I've got to be even softer with myself, even though the sauna is a cool thing for other people and such a health tool at this moment. I wasn't able to do that. And as soon as I stopped saunaing after my workouts, everything just started to flow. My body started to feel really good. And I know everyone who actually exercises experiences this also, but it's amazing the progress that you make. Like the first couple times that I would do the yoga, I'd be like, how is this freaking woman doing all these poses upside down when she's supposedly in her third trimester of pregnancy? It's not possible. And I saw myself, I saw my shadow come out. I saw my shadow being like, she's so skinny. That's why she can do it. She's never had to have a giant belly the way I have to have a giant belly. She doesn't understand, because I'm 5'2". There's no place for my belly to go but out. Everyone always thinks I'm having twins from the time I'm like 20 weeks along. And so I was making all these excuses in my head, letting my shadow come out. But then literally after a week, all of a sudden everything was so great. And I was like, wow, I can do these. And then all the things I thought were hard became easy over that consistent period. At the end of my pregnancy, I was like, these moves are super easy. Look at me. Look at my amazing strength that I built up over this time. So for anyone listening, just know tried and true, consistent exercise will make your life great. Even within a week, it will help with so many things. It helps your pregnancy so much. I'm glad that I did it because my pregnancy ended up being so crazy. My birth ended up being so crazy and I needed all of the muscle I could get to do it. So what happened was, I'll just jump into that story for everybody. The comedy of mishaps that was this baby's birth. So where we are staying is in Florida somewhere. And of course it's warm. We went there because we wanted to be able to birth in a warm place because I always have dreamed of birthing outside and doing all these things. Well, of course, the week that this baby decides to come, there's an Arctic freeze. It's the lowest numbers. It's the coldest winter that Florida has had in like 25 years.
How cold was it? How cold was it? You have to say how cold it was. This is Florida. You're like, oh, middle of January, probably like a low of 50,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where were you?
It was 20 degrees. It was 20 degrees. That's how cold it got.
Oh,
20.
yeah.
And like in a tiny RV that has no insulation, that's quite cold, It's pretty cold.
Yeah. It's like you had an Idaho winter.
Yeah, right. Like that's cold in an Idaho
Because that
winter.
was the temperature. I think it was actually warmer where I was at the time than where you were. And it's like, how is Idaho warmer than Florida right now in the winter? That makes no sense.
I have no idea. Blame Canada. I don't know. Blame the Arctic freeze. Blame climate change. Blame all the things. All the Arctic winds coming down. Yeah. I was like, oh no. It was dropping to the 20s at nights. And during the day, it was so crazy. The weather would fluctuate. Like it was literally 82 degrees. And then all of a sudden it would drop down to 20 degrees at night. Then it would be back in the 60s and the 70s. And so I started to get worried. My mom was like the most worried because she came out and she was like, you can't have this baby outside. What are you thinking? It's crazy. At the warmest, it's going to be 60 degrees. La, la, la. And not that she's wrong, So I just was trusting she would come at the right time. My babies usually come late. She is actually my fastest baby to come ever. She came at 40 weeks and 2 days, and we just had a mother blessing the day before. And I was like, man, I don't want to have this baby in the clubhouse. I'm not sure about it, even though it's like private, no one would bother me. But like it's concrete floors everywhere. And it's just, I don't know. It's not a homey place. But I think that the mother blessing before, one day we'll have an episode that talks about this, but it's kind of like a baby shower that's focused on the mother and focused on more of the spiritual aspect of birth and preparing for that beautiful spiritual aspect. I think because we actually did the blessing way there, it really blessed that area for me, and I was ready, and I felt like she couldn't come until after we had that. And so we actually had that on midwinter. So on midwinter, we had this beautiful blessing way. Of course, I love midwinter so much, or in bulk for people who follow the seasons. And then on the 4th, 2 days later, I was having some prodromal labor. I had labored kind of through the night. I was having contractions, but they weren't consistent. They were kind of all over the place. I just did not believe that it was real labor. That was kind of the thing. It's like once an hour, once every couple hours, and then it's like every 5 minutes, and then it's back to a couple hours. So it was just all over the place. I went to go get a prenatal massage. I knew this baby was sunny side up at that appointment, and the massage was actually really great. I was contracting while she was giving me the prenatal massage, and she was like, I don't know if this baby will come today, but it seems like she could. And I was like, meh, I don't know. My sister just had to do this for 5 days before her baby came, so I'm not expecting anything. And we went through our normal day. My husband and our friends were working on the trailer, doing the things. I'm in there just trying to flip this baby to an optimal position, just doing my thing, listening to my music and these spoken word poems that I really love. And then I went out to the sauna deck area, and my kids came out there to bug me and ask me for snacks. And I told them all to go away, like, leave me alone. But I told my middle child, he was like, what are you even doing? And I'm like, I'm getting ready. I'm trying to have this baby. I'm getting ready to be in labor. And he's like, why do you have to have the baby today? Why are we doing this today?
My gosh. You guys are hilarious. Oh my goodness. Why? Why today? Like, of all days, why not
Yeah,
today?
like, we want to go visit our friends. We don't want to that was literally the whole atmosphere. And I was like, just go away, you guys.
As if you planned it that way. Jeez, Julie.
I know, seriously. And I didn't know if it was going to be that day, totally. But I was just kind of like, man, this could take forever. It might be tomorrow morning. And that's kind of what I was thinking. Probably tomorrow morning will be the time. So Moth, my husband, came over to me and he was like, hey, do you want me to take the kids to dinner? Your parents made dinner. Do you want me to stay? What do you want? Do you want to come with us? How are you doing? And this was my biggest mistake. This is the biggest mistake in the whole mishap, because what did I tell him? I said, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go. Nothing's going to happen. It's fine. It'll be totally fine.
You sealed the deal,
I
Julie.
did. I was like, this is going to take a long time, I'm barely using a heating pad over here. So he leaves. And at that point, I am alone on this property. 40 acres, just me. And in our friend's RV who was over there, her husband was there, but he was hidden in the RV. So all of a sudden, I'm getting kind of tired. It's starting to get cold outside. I'm like, okay, you know what I'll do? I'll just go through the clubhouse. I'll get some water, some electrolytes. I'll go to the bathroom in there, and then I'll go back into my trailer, do some side lying stuff, try to get some rest. So I walk through there. I get a drink. I'm like listening to my song. I'm listening to the Lineage song. You know that one?
I love that
Lineage.
song.
Yeah, we should link that. It's a great one. And then I go to the bathroom. I sit on the toilet, and all of a sudden, I'm pushing. I am pushing and pushing, and I'm like, oh no. I like hear my water break. My mucus plug is out. And I quickly am like, oh, flippin' heck, cannot have this baby alone on this toilet. I will not birth this baby on a toilet. And I turn on the hot water to the bathtub because there's a bathtub right next to the toilet. I text my husband. I'm like, get back here right now. This baby's coming. He's like, I'm coming. And I get into the tub. I'm literally sitting there in the tub. And all I'm doing is asking the goddess, please just don't let this baby come until my husband comes. I'm telling this baby, just wait, because every time I go onto my hands and knees in the bathtub, I'm pushing her out. So I can't do that. I'm sitting on my ankles, just sitting on my knees, and I'm literally looking up and I'm just trying to focus. It's too late to really get into hypnosis. I'm trying to, but we're already there. I'm like, I cannot do this. I will not birth this baby in this tiny bathtub, partially because I knew she was sunny side up, which meant I needed to make a wider entry point for her vaginally. And the way that you do that, for people who don't know, is that you need to swing your legs out. So like on your knees, you need to do some external rotation instead of internal. Like in the hospital, they do it all wrong. They're always like, oh, do butterfly position. No. You want to do the opposite of butterfly position because it opens your hips and allows that baby to come down. So there's no room in this tiny tub to swivel my legs out. So I'm like, okay, plan B, we have the birth pool is in the closet and it's already blown up. And so my husband all of a sudden bursts into the room. And he's like, okay, I'm here. What do you need? What are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, do you want to do this outside? Dream birth outside. And I'm like, no, we're past that. Like, it's already 40 degrees outside. We can't do that. There's no time. He's like, okay, all right, I'll get this stuff. And he gets the pool out. He's trying to put water in the pool. Well, because I had been in the bathtub, all the hot water was gone. There's no hot water to be had. So he's trying to fill up the pool. There's no hot water. I come out. I'm like, this water is freezing. He's like, oh no. So he stops the water. He starts boiling water. He's running around like a madman. Then he's like, oh, we have water heaters. I'll get those. So he's running around. He gets these water heaters out. He plugs one of the water heaters in. He puts it on the carpet on the ground. And then he runs back out to get he's like, oh, this won't reach. So he goes out to get an extension cord. What he didn't realize was those water heaters do not have an on-off switch. As soon as they are plugged in, they are on. And so he is gone. I go back in the bathroom to get my phone and my music, walking barefoot on this concrete floor. I come back out and I look and there's a fire. There's a literal fire just firing at me. The big, the flames are like a foot tall. I'm like,
Birth fire.
birth fire. Yeah.
Name of your next album, by the way.
This is the fire of birth, right?
Birth.
It goes along with the ring of fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the flames that are cleansing me. What do they call those? Like when you cleanse something in a flame? The refiner's fire? It's a refiner's fire during my birth. Oh my gosh. So he comes back in, he sees the fire. We get there at the same time. He sees the fire and I see the fire about the same time. And then he looks at me. His eyes are wide. He's like the scaredest I've ever seen him in my life. And he just goes, he says to me, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Don't worry. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Laugh so much.
Oh my gosh.
Go back into the bathroom. There's nothing to see here. And I'm like, you have to put the fire out. I literally just started laughing. I was like, there's nothing to do but laugh. I'm literally trying to hold this baby in. Because I'm at the pushing stage. I'm literally holding this baby inside of me so she doesn't come out on the concrete. And I am like, I cannot do this. There's this fire now. It was just so crazy that I just started laughing. I was like, I can either cry or laugh, and I'm just going to laugh my head off. So I'm laughing. He's like, you're okay? I'm like, yes, I'm okay. You got to put this fire out, though. So I instruct him how to put out the fire. I'm like, just get a pot of water. It'll take out the fire, because he was freaking out. He puts out the fire. He's still trying to bail in water. He's running around with like a chicken with his head cut off. He tears off his shirt at this point. He is bare chested. He's just sweating like a madman. And every few minutes, he just keeps coming up to me. And he's like, I love you. You're amazing. We're going to do this together. You're so beautiful. I'm here for you. And then he just runs away and starts bailing the water. And then he comes back. I love you. I'm here for you. I think you're amazing. Keep holding on. And I just realize over time, there's no way we're going to get this water hot enough before this baby is going to come out. It's not possible at this point. So I just looked around. There's some futons that are like couch futon things. And I'm just like, okay, we're just going to have this baby on the futon. I told him get the underpads, put them all over the futon. I'm going to get on my hands and knees and we're going to have this baby. And he was like, okay. So he does that. I go over there. I'm on my hands and knees for 2 minutes. I'm already pushing. She's ready to come out. He's down by me playing my music. She was born to Halo, by the way. Beyonce. Okay, that's what she was born to. But an acoustic version, a pretty acoustic Halo version. Anyway, so he just looks at me and he's like, you're doing great. And I'm like, she's here. And he's like, yes, she's coming. I'm like, no, she's here. Her head is out of my vagina. She's here. And he goes to the back and he's like, oh, she's here. Her head, I guess 2 inches of her head's out. And I just push, yell, scream. I'm like, I'm sure the neighbors can hear this. Yell, scream, push this baby out. Roared for her. He caught her, unwrapped the umbilical cord from her neck, and she was beautiful. And she did come sunny side up. That's why I yell roared, was the sunny side up. Man, it is intense for sure. I felt it in my vulva. That's where I was feeling it. So he caught her, undid the umbilical cord around her neck, and he was so sweet. He was just so precious with her. He was like, "Hi, beautiful. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Our little Alethea, we love you." And he's like letting me catch my breath because I'm like, I need to stay here for the whole minute, catch my breath before we do this. Because I've been standing or kneeling the whole time, going around and trying to put out fires, literally. So then I sit back against the wall. He hands her to me and we start the nursing process. She was beautiful. And yeah, called my mom. My mom came and then the kids came to see her, which is like a sweet video. They were so excited. No longer were they mad that their baby sister happened to come that day. They were super excited to see this tiny baby. She was beautiful. She has so much hair. We love her. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, it's so sweet.
I love this story so much. I've cracked up every time I've heard it, and it's so precious at the same time. It's hilarious and adorable.
It was definitely not what I expected. There were a lot of feelings around it I had to work through. And actually, my husband basically cried later. He was like, "I'm so sorry. I ruined your birth. This is totally my fault." And I was like, "No, I was literally not mad at him." He's like, "I'm sure you're so mad at me." And I was like, "No, I'm not mad at you. You didn't know. You were literally trying your hardest. You should have seen yourself fighting for me, trying to do everything for me, running around for me, getting everything set up, not having any warning, running to the rescue kind of a thing." So we've worked through that and now I can laugh about it and love her birth story. I mean, she was so beautiful. She weighed 8 pounds, 10 ounces when she came. Yeah, she was a good sized baby.
It was a good size,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's a good.
In your 5'2" frame, your
Yes.
body was like, "Get
Get
out.
out of
I'm
me.
done. Super done."
Yes, and I mean, it's not 11 pounds like Kaylee's little boy, but it
No, that's a big baby for you, though. Like, Jan has a point for your frame. That's a good-sized baby.
well, she even, Aznith, she was 9 pounds and 4 ounces. She was insane, but she was 2 weeks over. She was a 42 weeker. So as this was only a couple days over that 40-week mark, but yeah, it was beautiful in its own way and crazy. And I just felt grateful that my body could handle that. All that preparation work I'd done had paid off. I mean, now I will say I knew consciously in the moment that holding her in was more painful than pushing her out. I consciously knew by choosing to hold this baby in, I am causing myself pain. And I told you both this, a lot of lessons about surrender and learning to surrender. I mean, if I had done it again, I probably would have told my husband to stay home. That's probably what I would have done. But also, if I could have changed something, I probably would have done the futon earlier because I was so determined to birth her in water. But that bathtub, man, I was trying to get my legs out and I just couldn't. It was just one of those really tiny ones. It wasn't really viable. So I don't know. I think I'm grateful for the strength that my body had. I was grateful that I could, wait for her and had that capability. Not that it wasn't hard. Like at one point I was like, "Oh goddess, be with me. Like please, goddess, just be with me. Hold me in this moment, right? I need that." But I felt like, oh, I can keep my head. And that's what my husband said too. He was like, "I was the one losing my head. You're in the middle of literally having a baby and you're calm and collected the entire time." It wasn't like I wasn't making noises or anything like that, but just being able to be there, be in the moment and have that laser focus. I think it's such a special thing that women can do. You hear about these mothers who, pick up cars when their kids get hurt or something like that. I felt like these were like one of those moments where you don't think you can do it, but you can do it. And just really like that death and rebirth process, but delivering your child. And we don't often talk about that. I've been thinking about that a lot, how just symbolically women put their bodies on the altar to birth their children and give their blood, right? They really do give their blood for their children and put their bodies there down to literally deliver them out of their bodies, which I think is really beautiful symbolically and truthfully, like such a veil moment. So yeah, since then, I've just been recovering. And because I held her in, it's taken a little bit longer. My pelvic floor has had a tougher time. I have been going to a pelvic floor therapist. I've been working on it. I have been so excited to get back to exercise. That was a thing I had to have a talk with myself about, was like, it's okay to keep resting. You don't have to start exercising. But I think because I loved it so much, it was more like I want to do it because I love it, because it was so helpful to me and it was my sacred time for myself and my body. Speaking of bodies to be completely real and raw, I've definitely had a lot of feelings about the way I look, because you just get that after postpartum look that,
The punch down bread bowl
yes,
belly,
yes,
right? Like it looks like a pizza dough that somebody just punched down and it goes away.
yes, it's true.
Don't worry, it goes away.
It does. I just feel like, with each baby, I'm like, man, it's sticking out so much more this time than it has before. And it's sitting higher. And I've got all these things about my diastasis recti and wanting to get my muscles back together and all those pieces. So it has been a thing about that, trying to level with myself and be grateful for my body and fight that little part of me, that little girl inside who's still like, my gosh, I can't believe this is the way I look. Which is it's literally so stupid. It's the silliest thing. And I have been very reclusive this time around. I used to be the person who was like a week after postpartum, like, come over, hang out. Yeah. And this time I was very much like, no, this is sacred time. This is just me and my baby. I don't want anybody around. I just want to be with her and drink her in, because that's it. They're only little for so long, and that's it. That's all you get. You don't have it again. And this is probably my last baby. So I want to just love on her and just watch her grow. And that's been really beautiful, to just watch her in her stages and work with her, work with breastfeeding, still working through that. She's got a couple ties we're working on, but I mean, she's gaining weight. Great. She's over 12 pounds now and she's happy. So just the gassy stuff. Her siblings love her. She's very smiley now and she coos all the time. That's my other thing I forgot. I'm like, baby coos. They're so cute. Little baby voices. She likes to have little conversations. She has so much Aquarius in her chart. I sent her chart to Allie and Allie's reaction was, holy Aquarius, Batman. So she's going to have a very transformative life. I think the first 20 years of her existence. So preparing for that. But yeah, that's my life basically.
How long, if you had just gone, I can do this by myself, how long would your labor have been, you think, start to finish?
From the time I knew I was actually in labor, which was sitting on the toilet. 20 minutes. It would have been it would have been 20 minutes. Because the whole thing.
Straight up 20-minute labor.
Yes, because she was ready to come out. When I told Moth, from the time I texted him, it was 6:30 when I texted him, and she was born at 8:26 p.m. Oh, 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
You held her in for an hour and a half.
I held her in for an hour and a half. Yeah. Well, I held her in for the whole 2 hours because I started in the pushing.
Right.
So yes,
Started pushing
immediately. So yeah, I'm sure all that prodromal labor was working, apparently. So that's another lesson, my body was doing the thing, even though I didn't realize it. It was interesting because the contractions were so sporadic the entire time, 10 minutes apart, 7 minutes apart, 3 minutes apart, 2 minutes apart. And that's why I was like, this is probably not legit. It's probably just prodromal. The other part of it was I would only contract when I moved positions. It was the weirdest thing. And usually for people who've had babies before, you contract whether you move positions or not. Your body just does the thing no matter what. And it wasn't like that until the very, very end when I was holding her in. Then I started contracting almost no matter what I did. So it would have been real fast. She might have had a different rising sign. So had to hold her in.
It's possible. It's so funny.
Isn't it hilarious?
She could have had a totally different birth chart if I just let her be born when she wanted
I know,
to.
right?
And the fact that it was so fast while she was sunny side up is just insane.
Yes, so unheard of,
Yes.
right? That's not the way that it usually goes. But again, I guess all that prodromal stuff was working itself out. So probably I was really in labor for 2 or 3 days, but just not acknowledging it.
You just didn't have to try that
Didn't have
hard.
to
It
try.
was like going on in the background. That's pretty great.
It was. Yeah, it was. The intense part was definitely the end for sure. Those last 2 hours were very intense, but yeah, before that, it was like, meh, I can do this. It's fine.
It's also funny too with all the Aquarius in her chart. It's just like, yeah, your birth was weird. Super weird.
Oh my gosh, so true. So unconventional. Yeah, the most unconventional birth ever. She's fun. It's been fun. It's been a wild ride. And now we are looking for a place to live. We're kind of homeless right now and just running around trying to find somewhere to be stationary for at least 6 months. Yeah, my husband's building up his business and doing a bunch of stuff because I told him, listen, I can't be the provider right now. I need you to step in and do it. And he was like, all right, I'll figure it out.
Done.
I'll do it.
Love it.
Just,
It's good.
yeah, answered the call.
So you guys are looking for a place to stay in Florida and building a new business, had a new baby with a wild ride birth. And what else? You're still doing sessions yet, or are you
Yes,
back?
I just started doing sessions again. And I think my calendar is technically booked out until the 15th or the 20th or something of April. But yeah, by the time this drops, if you want a session, we're back. We're back in session. Just slow.
Just like one a day.
Yeah, just really slow.
For me, it's way slower than one a day. It's like 1 or 2 a week, if that.
Yes, yes.
It's interesting to juggle coming back into doing one-on-one work, or even recording for the podcast and having a new baby. Like, I mean, I've done it before, but this time it feels different. And I don't know if it feels different for you too, Julie, but it's like, there's a part of me that, and maybe it is because this definitely is my last baby, but it's like, okay, this must be treasured and this must be grieved, and both are okay. But it means I don't always want to show up and talk to people. I don't always want to hold space for somebody else and their chart. And other days, I'm totally game. I want to do it. Let's do this right now.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way in many ways, just wanting to be gentle. I like to be honest about this because, if we're not honest, then what are we even saying to people? But I let myself get totally burned out last year. I let myself totally run ragged. I bent way too far into my masculine. I took way too long to ask for help and to ask my husband for more support. I didn't use my voice in that way, even though we had such a magical year. It really was so great, so awesome, so much fun, but so stressful. Oh my gosh, so stressful in my body. The travel, so stressful. This birth, so stressful. And just, I think my nervous system has just finally been like, okay, all done. All gone. It's all done now. We have nothing left. So we just need to do this. And like right now, I'll do a session here or there. I'm being really picky about it. And also with the podcast, just making it like, that's my one thing. It's just my one thing. This is what I do. Taking the time, trying to be slow, trying to slowly help my nervous system to live again. So that's where we're at right now.
That's actually an interesting point. That is pretty much where I'm at too, in that vein. I'm super burnt myself out last year. And if I'm being honest, since 2022, I've been just going, thinking that like next thing will make it better. If I just keep doing this thing, it'll get better and then we'll be fine. Yeah. So I guess it's my turn. I'll say what happened to me in the last 3 months, because it has a lot to do with the fact that I had been pushing for so long. So like way before you started the podcast, any of this, I had this job and it was like they were very nice. They were also very stuck in their ways. And I was like, you do realize we're doing things super inefficient. We need to fix this. But I spent a year and a half trying to make them be different. And that was exhausting. So I left, right? And there were lots of other reasons I had to leave. Then my cat died, but not before like having a week long stint in the hospital. So that was expensive, right? So then I didn't have a job. And then I was doing this stuff, right? I was doing sessions and all of that. I think the one thing that particularly as business owners who want to be in the feminine forget is that sometimes in a business you have to be in the masculine. So a lot of times, I don't know if you do this, but I'm like, I'm so in the feminine right now. And I'm really just forcing so much. And so I'm like not in my feminine, not in my flow, not giving myself space to rest. Or it'll be like, this is a rest time. And I'm giving myself permission to rest while also I'm like running up some random mental tab of like all the time that I'm resting, which is another backwards masculine thing to do to yourself. Right. And I don't mean masculine is like bad, but masculine is in like taking transactional tally marks, like keeping track of these things. Be like, well, I took a day off last week. Why can't I do it this week? Why can't I keep going? I had my time off. What's wrong with me? Or because we have weird schedules, I would try to fit stuff in times when like it doesn't work for my body, but it works for the schedule. And I would be like, oh, but I can't make that happen. What's wrong with me? I'm, not doing a good job of forcing myself. So, and then we had like lots of like personal stuff for those several years. And I'll just say, when the government shut down last year, I was just like, psh, my only source of stable income just left for 2 whole months. And I was like, I cannot keep pretending and hoping on a wish and a prayer. So I ended up getting a job. I started my job back in December. And I have had to be so anti-people in this job as nourishment, I guess. Because of the last job that was so traumatic, I was just like, I don't want to talk to anybody. And it was perfect because I was just learning. I had to take all these tests and stuff to basically become a financial advisor. So I'd take all these tests. So I was taking tests, and I was literally just sitting there watching videos all day. And I was having zero interaction with humans. And that was exactly what I needed. And then somewhere in my organization, they were like, there was overwhelm. They had to fix it, blah, blah, blah. It had no bearing on my life whatsoever. But my manager was like, I'm so sorry. I haven't been in contact with you. I was like, no. You don't understand. I didn't want any of that. I don't want any togetheriness. I literally just want to be alone and get paid to be alone. Thank you. So that was like, I could not have planned that. I couldn't have thought it. I just was like, I don't know. Okay, we're doing this. And I have gained like 30 pounds. I am the same weight that I was at the height of any pregnancy I've ever had, but I am not pregnant. So it's like very strange. But I know what I've been knowing all of this time is that sometimes when you finally start to feel safe, that's when the body starts to put on the weight and then you can kind of come down the ladder that way. But I had been just redlining my entire life for 4 years. And then finally we had a big tax refund too. And so it was like, okay, I can fix a lot of the stuff that I was afraid of, right? Terrified of. Like every morning I would wake up freaking out for one reason or another, whether it was family or money or what is somebody going to say to me at my job today? Like, nope, none of that was happening. And so my body was like, okay, we're going to get fat now. Like, great. I didn't really sign up for that, but I guess I did. So here we are. I haven't really, until this point, been doing anything about it. Just kind of going, so how far are we going to go? Where are we going? What do we need to do? But I joined this metabolism reset thing where you eat like 4 times a day and making sure you get enough of all the nutrients and everything. So it's given me a little bit of focus instead of just going, yeah, whatever, get Starbucks, whatever, get some ice cream at night, whatever, I'll make popcorn. But I don't actually think it was the foods that I was eating, except that I wasn't eating as much in the right order at the right time of day. And I have zero judgment for myself around anything. But I've been doing that for like a couple of weeks. So that's been that. And I thought I had a point to any of this other than to say I'm in the nourishment stage. I have a friend who calls it blowing out your channels, right? I was doing energy work, intense energy work all the time, and I wasn't able to properly nourish my body. So when you do lots of energy work and you don't take care of yourself, your energetic channels get really screwy and it's not good for you to keep doing energy work. So I have been focusing on that, especially my third chakra is really, really unhappy. So I've been doing a lot of energy work for myself from other people. I have one client who calls me when she has a problem, and that's it. And it's like every few months. I can handle that. But I just literally could not do any more energy work. Starting in last summer, I had to fully put the brakes on it, unfortunately. And I was always just like, oh, I'll just put a pause on it for now and it'll get better. And then I can do more sessions and I'll make money. That's not really how this works. So it made all the difference in the world to have a stable income, regardless of how much energy work I can do.
Well, yeah, you
or
need
not.
that.
So
I mean,
Yeah.
like stability. I mean, there's been so much coming to the surface. A lot of people have been talking about this recently. I've been seeing people post about it, but the fact that we now know that the female body runs off of oxytocin, right? Your nervous system is settled by oxytocin, whereas the male body is settled by dopamine, and they need dopamine to run their nervous system. And for women, dopamine depletes oxytocin. So here we are in our dopamine lives, living it like just this crash all the time. And without that steadiness, you need that steadiness, because oxytocin doesn't come from it comes from those steady things, those slow things. And the feminine in general needs that piece of safety. It has to have safety. And safety in this day and age is a steady income. That is safety. And that's 100% totally okay. And, that's something I would love to have right now, is a steady income. And I think it's great that you're doing that. Part of healing work, it's not just all the energetic, it's also the practical. And you got to be practical with your needs, just like I didn't speak up in time for me, and your body is telling you similarly. I mean, I'm glad you're listening. Okay, it's time. It's time to speak up for our needs. It's time to have something steady back in our lives, have protection, have that. Because I was thinking about, like, even in my journey going straight from law school into all this stuff and just being burnt. So much of what made last year just untenable was there's no consistency. There's no steadiness. Adventure is so fun. Dopamine is so fun at the time. It's super fun, but it also isn't that piece. So I'm very proud of you, Jan. I think you're doing great.
Oh, thank you. Well, and so then the weird thing was the government shut down again, but only parts of it. And yes, we were affected by those parts. My husband works for TSA. So we've spent the last 6 months, we had a great time in December and January. We actually got paid. And then other than that, we have not been paid. I mean, we've gotten the executive order, all of that stuff, right, has been worked out at this point, but there's still uncertainty about the future as far as that's concerned. And my ability to panic, I don't have any panic left, because it's just, I'm fine. We're actually fine, even though he's not getting paid still, even though there's uncertainty, because that second income makes such a big difference. It's just like a risk thing, right? I come from insurance background in general. And when you have like one thing that you're relying on, whatever it is, for stability, and that thing falls out, like you have no safety net, like that's not risk management. And that's why people talk about all the time, I have multiple sources of income, blah, 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 passive income. So important. But it's just from my experience, like, what's the easiest form to get a second income? For me to get a job. That was the answer, right? And I was thankful, because at the time that happened, I had the mental and emotional capacity and the childcare capacity to do so, because my youngest had school and she has really good therapies and she's in a really great place now. And so 6 months beforehand, I couldn't fathom the idea of me getting a job, even if it was work at home all the time. It wasn't even a thing. So it was the exact time that I was like, the earliest possible time I could have tried looking for a job. Yep. So I've had to take down all of my money courses, because I am now regulated by FINRA. And I can't talk about money, even what I just said is probably terrible, but I can't talk about money online anywhere, like advice.
Wow, that's wild.
That just makes me want to ask you about money.
I know, right?
It'll have to be off recording. We'll ask her all the questions off recording.
Yes.
One-on-one is fine. It's the broadcasting that's the problem, right? This is what I find to be so fascinating about, like, in Instagram and TikTok, they're like, oh, the finance people, blah, blah, blah. None of those people have any licenses, because you're not allowed. You're not allowed to talk about it if you have a license. And if you don't have a license, you have no idea what you're talking about. So don't do that. Talk to a real person.
That's crazy. That's so crazy to think about.
Every 5 minutes, I'm like, I need to make a post about this, and then I forget. But yeah, if anyone you're following, they are probably not licensed, or they are only saying very canned things, because it's highly regulated, whatever broadcasting stuff you're doing.
That's so interesting, because it just depends on the licensing, because as an attorney, and since I'm a licensed attorney, I can talk about the law all I want to, right? But if I didn't have my license, I couldn't There are certain things I can't say because I'm not licensed, or I can't do, or I can't say unless you're my client. So it's interesting that it's kind of backwards. It's like, if you don't have a license, you can say what you want. If you do have a license, you can't say anything except in these specific parameters. So that's interesting.
Thought so too. And I think it has something to do with, and this is me just riffing, the law is the law, depending on what state you're in, it might be different, but everybody's financial situation is different. And so when you are broadcasting, you should buy this stuff, blah, 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 that might not be right for you. That might not be right for a lot of people that you are speaking to. And so they would just want to be very clear about all of that. And I get it. And there's a lot of coercion in the industry, unfortunately. And that was one of the reasons I've always disliked it. But I'm happy where I am, and I like the company I'm with. So, yeah.
Well, look at you. And that's a cool thing you didn't mention, is that you got your license over the past 3 months. You've been getting licensing. So that's amazing. You've been doing all of that and all of the training and so much education during this time. So go, Jan. You're awesome.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a ride. I tell you what. That's what I've been doing. That and mildly secondary deconstruction from Christianity, which is really weird to do when you work for a mildly Christian company.
I was going to say, I know.
It's so weird.
It's interesting. Like working with people with deconstruction, or just like for yourself, or
for myself. Yeah. It's been a time of it's really healing inner child stuff that had to do with how I was raised, and not even by my parents. I was raised in a church that believed certain things that I don't know that my parents even agreed with all the time, but they just went with, that's how the party line is. And a lot of that stuff that I was taught is impacting the world today on a much wider scale. So I'm coming to terms with some of that.
Yeah.
And it's triggering a lot of my inner child's work.
Well, I feel like a lot of that is in the air. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of people talking about that and the woundings, and just, a lot of the research coming out around women and matriarchal cultures beforehand, and religion, how that ties in, and, all the stuff we've talked about before about the Bible, and even more than that coming together. Has really made people have to deconstruct a lot of things that they thought before. So,
yeah.
And I think it happens on levels, and you see things on different levels. And not to say that anyone's belief system is bad or, not good for them, but I'm glad that this has been really healing for you, and a time you could do that for yourself.
Yeah. I had a lot more time on my hands than I usually do, which has been good for me. Yeah. Like protected time, where I have somebody managing all of the responsibilities and it's not on me. And also I have this other thing I have to do, but I watch videos on double speed. So like I have extra time there, right? Like I'm learning the same or better pace than everybody else, but just faster. So I was able to kind of like take those moments of journaling and thinking about it and sitting with a lot of different stuff that was like, these things that I was taught don't make sense with each other. Why are they together? This doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of it has to do with patriarchy versus matriarchy, like you were saying. When I went through my first big healing journey in the early 2010s, it sort of naturally happened, this deconstruction thing, because you start to question certain things. Because if you're like healthy emotionally and physically healthy in those spaces, you go, why are these things making sense? And where can I see myself in that religion that I was raised in? So that's where I started obsessing over the divine feminine. That was just a natural part of the process. Like that's just what happens when you start to heal, is you start to question, like, what was I taught and why was I taught it? And then I, closed the door on that. I had my little rebellious era, my Lilith era. That was great. I had a great time. And I thought I was done with it. This past year has been like, you are not. And so back when I was going through all of that, I really, really believed that as a society, we were just going to flip a switch back to some version of something that my deepest bones kind of felt was true for our society. This matriarchal concept and this real food concept, that was a big deal for me. Like how do we get back to the land? What does that look like? And I thought we were going that way. And then I think COVID sort of derailed some of that. And then it became this very strange experience. And then I'm like, maybe we will never do that in my lifetime. And that makes me feel sad.
It is sad. It is a sad feeling, it is sad. But like, it's also for you to put this in context for people who don't know you as well. Like, gardening is a huge part of your life. You and your connection to the earth and herbs, like our herbalism episode just dropped a couple weeks ago. So good. We have to do a part 2. That was so fun. But like,
Yeah, it was so
you are
fun.
so passionate about it. You can tell even in that episode how passionate you feel about those things. And I think everybody does on some level. I just think some people are not awakened to it yet. They haven't come back to the healing of nature because everyone can agree, regardless of if you spend your whole life indoors, you're still always like, wow, that mountainscape is beautiful. There's something so healing about nature. Like everyone knows that, but they haven't connected that and they haven't connected the spirituality piece either. I can see why for you it'd be particularly difficult. And I feel that way too. Like I feel so sad about it also. But to let go of where's that connection to the earth and are we ever going to come back to that?
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and I'm expanding my gardens this year into somebody else's house. So I'm very excited about that. Also, I turned 40 in 2 months.
I know. What are we going to do? We have to do a big thing.
I don't know.
A big deal
I
thing.
don't know. And I've been experiencing my Pluto square Pluto for eternity. I don't know. A long time in this Aquarius experience, Pluto, and it's traversing my first house, which is super dumb, by the way. Don't do it. Don't do it, guys.
Never have a square Pluto. As if you can escape.
Yeah. I don't know that we get to opt out of anything Pluto related.
I'm just so annoyed because I'm like, no, I have been doing this work hardcore my entire adult life. I have never let my foot off the gas. And I'm like, Pluto, you jerk. I did not consent to your BS today. And I am not okay with it. Go back in your hidey hole and don't come back because I have already been transforming my entire life. This is where I'm doing easy things. Go away.
So true. It's such a real thing. That can be so hard. That Pluto square Pluto. If you have your Pluto in Scorpio, buckle up. Get ready.
Yep.
It's coming for you.
Especially in those early degrees of Scorpio. Mine's at 4 degrees and it's sort of conjunct my south node. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me and all of that.
Well, thank you for sharing with us. I love getting a glimpse into your life, and I know the listeners do too, and just all the beautiful nuggets that come out of that too. And I think we're all on our own journey. I think it's beautiful. I don't know, being raw and real with people. We're just being truly ourselves. Like, yes, we talk about the feminine, and sometimes we're not in our feminine, and sometimes we can't do all the things we say all the time, and we discover new things. We're always on a healing journey. So I think that's beautiful. And just look at us, so many things to transpire in just 3 months.
I want to jump in really quick. And I haven't been able to talk much because I had to do ballet buns for my girls. And then my baby came in and real life happened. And that's just exactly what we're talking about is real life. I just want to say, Jan, I feel so proud of you. Like just so proud of you for following what you felt was best for you, for your nervous system, for holding space for yourself, for having grace. Because sometimes it's really easy to be like, oh, I've been doing the entrepreneur thing. I can't go back and get a job. Like I've been doing this thing. Like I've been doing intuitive healing and energy work. Like I can't not do that. And those are just stories. Like you haven't lost, you haven't backtracked. You are doing what makes sense for you in this chapter of life. Not everyone has the courage to do that. So thank you for that example.
No, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Anytime I like quote manifest something, right? Because I don't control any of this, right? But anytime I manifest stuff, there's always a lot of wishy-washy, maybe, I don't know, this is weird. A lot of weird stuff happens. Weird, 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 weird. And then some turning point happens and I'm like, nope, this is what I gotta do. And everybody can go kick rocks if they disagree with me. And that's just how it ends up happening. And I don't love the emotional lead up to it because it's very exhausting. But that's how it tends to be. And then when I get into it, it ends up being very healing and rebuilding and it's fine. But up until that point, I'm like, why does it have to be this bendy, this efforty?
Yeah. Yeah. I know that I definitely have my moments where I'm like, I'm going to throw a temper tantrum about this. I don't like that this is going this way. I don't want it to be this way. And like, it's okay for all of us, every single one of us, to have whatever emotions we
Yeah.
have about a thing. It doesn't mean we're doing it wrong. And it doesn't mean we're going to resist it forever. I mean, like, Julie didn't resist giving birth to her baby forever. I mean, she couldn't, but like the energy of resistance could have persisted. Like her baby could be born and she could still be in this resistant state. And that wouldn't be bad or good necessarily. That would just mean, hey, Julie's got some stuff to work through. She's got some stuff to process. And when we're in that resistance phase, or we're in this space of, I really don't like where I see things going, I think sometimes we want to just shove that away or say we're doing it wrong, when in reality, it's just part of the process. It's okay to not be okay with it for a while.
Yeah. And what was really also very good was I got the job offer like in the beginning of November, but I couldn't start until much later because there's a whole process, right? I spent that entire month just grieving my time, my freedom, or what my perception of freedom is, and like just sitting there and being like, maybe I don't take this job. I can still back out. It's fine. And it was a really good time to like dive into why that was upsetting for me and what was I actually losing. Because in every transition, there's a loss and there's a gain. And I think too many times we try to glaze over the loss when it's like a good transition. And we try to get, like, if I had been fixated on like, when can I start? When can I start? I need to start now. I would have like driven myself nuts. But because I was like, I could just not do this. It was a fairly relaxing process to fully experience that. I'm not going to be able to just leave in the middle of the day and go do the things I want to do. Can't go to Costco at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday anymore. Like I don't have that luxury. But you know what I do have? I'm paying into Social Security now, guys. That's what I have. No, just kidding. I have a lot more than that. But it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, that will me. Even if I do get Social Security, I'm not going to get anything if I don't work. So things that I think about at night. This is random stuff.
Well, you get the steadiness, you get the nervous system calm.
I get the steadiness.
Yeah.
I get the nervous system calm.
Yes.
No,
Which
I do.
will
And I have.
lead to the more
People respect my time more now.
Yes.
As a parent and an entrepreneur, don't you feel like everyone feels entitled to your time? And I don't
Yes.
mean clients at all. I mean everyone else in your life, all your personal relationships. They're like, oh, well, you're not doing anything. Are you sure about that? Because I'm definitely doing something. It's flexible, but it's still real. And I still need to put time towards these things. But when you're in charge of your own schedule and suddenly everyone's like, oh, well, you can just work around this. You can just work around that. Now I have a job. It's a really upsetting thing, I think, especially for mom entrepreneurs, is that like, now you're expected to do work and have, like, both of you have babies in your laps right now. Kaylee straight up did ballet buns in the middle of podcasting. And this is part of our capability of flexibility. It's also like no man podcast is like this. I'm telling you, no one has their daughters walking in and, oh, you got to do ballet buttons in the middle of your podcast, dude. No, especially not the crazy guys. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways.
Amen. Amen.
I'm not going to name them. So, yeah, I just want everyone to know, like, the feminine flexibility piece. And sometimes we also don't need to be as flexible as we're being. And it's hard because it's like, oh, I gotta say no. They're going to be sad at me. They're going to cry. They're going to yell at me. They're going to have emotions, and I don't want them to have emotions. So, that's my weird little soapbox. You're welcome, guys. You didn't ask for it. I gave it to you anyways. So.
Love the soapboxes.
Yes.
I do too. People love them. People do.
Here.
I just ramble a lot. Okay, it's fine. Yeah.
No, we love it. It's great. And I think so many mompreneurs can appreciate that, and entrepreneurs in general, because even my husband was like, you guys always think you can just come up to me and talk to me, which is like part of the thing of being a really supportive husband, is that he gets that treatment of like, you think you can just interrupt. And he's like, I just want to work interrupted. Okay. That's all I need, and that's hard. That's the hard part. But I think especially for women, it's like even more, you've got to do it more. You got to bend, bend, bend. So love that. I love all of this. I love everyone's stories and hearing about everyone's life. So thanks for teaching and updating us all.
Oh, I forgot the last thing. I'm not stopping any of my stuff. I'm still doing it. I just had to take down all my money stuff. But Tarot Pulse is insane right now. Tarot Pulse is like not just on the computer. It's an app. You just go to your website and then it says, "Do you want this to be an app on your phone?" And then you just click the button and you can get push notifications and like all kinds of sorting capabilities and tags. And so like if you're doing a money reading, you can just do it for money. And if you're doing a love readings, and like it's really cool. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I just had to tell you that. Not really plug. I just need everyone to know. Like it's like insane right now.
I love it. I love it so much. You know me. You know I'm all for this data and everything that you can mark and being like, oh my gosh, the patterns. It's
The
amazing.
patterns.
So great job. That's
The
amazing.
patterns of time.
Everyone go download Tarot
Yeah.
Pulse. Everyone do it.
Yeah, go to mytarotpulse.com. Do it, guys. Do it. Because you can just put in all your tarot readings and then you can like read your past and read your future very, very tangibly. Sometimes I get a little like too heady with astrology, but I find that tarot tends to be a little bit more here and now. Astrology is very like big picture. Tarot's like here and now. And with data collection, you can see a little more granularly, like the bigger picture. And I just had a whole meeting too about how to use your tarot to like look at your astrology. And yeah, I had somebody who showed me her data and it was like half of her stuff was just water planets. And I was like, oh, you have very water time right now. And they were like, oh, I never thought of water as being a force of nature and a transformative thing to reckon with. Yes, it is. But you can see the planetary stuff in your Tarot Pulse app. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking about that because I love it and it's cool stuff. Yeah. So go to there, do the things. Yeah. So that is everything. What is one piece of wisdom you guys want to leave with today? Your body's awesome. Your body is awesome. Just listen. That's what I would like to say.
We learned so many things today. I would just say it's okay to be raw and real and honest with yourself and others. You don't have to be perfect all the time, and your body is amazing. It's so wise, and it's okay to acknowledge if you're like, oh, I actually do need more rest, and it's okay to let yourself be like, okay, my nervous system is not where I want it to be. We can work on it. We can make it better. I did this thing to see where my nervous system was at, and it was like, your nervous system is in collapse right now. It is completely collapsed. And I was like, great, this is my life. I'm so excited about this. So that's okay. It's okay to be wherever you are right in this moment. It's okay to feel what you feel. There's joy. Even though I'm in quote unquote collapse, I still have very joyful moments, lots of hard moments and joyful moments. And it's beautiful. And I think it's so happy. I would say it's beautiful to be back together again. The connection is so important. So if you're feeling that way, go connect. Everyone needs connection and it's beautiful.
My baby's trying to get in on the podcasting conversation. I love that, Julie. And I love what you said too, Diane. Yes, to go along with both of those topics, the connection and then that your body is amazing. I think so often for me, and probably for a lot of people, the issue that we get into with our bodies is that we experience them from the outside. We're thinking like, oh, how do I look to other people? How am I coming across to other people? We take on the gaze of the other instead of being in our actual body, feeling what we actually feel, noticing the sensations that we're actually experiencing and holding space for that. Because when we're able to do that, when we're able to be in our bodies, truly in our bodies and experiencing our lives from inside our own bodies, really hard, even if it kind of sucks in the moment, it's somehow, I hesitate to say easier, but in some ways it's easier. It's easier to be in your body and just hold space for it and to be truly present than it is to keep running away from it and keep looking at it from the outside. Even if that seems totally counterintuitive to you right now, encourage you to try it out. Try being in your life from the inside instead of looking at it from the outside in.
So good. So important. So important.
My baby's eating the microphone. Ah, sorry.
Yeah. He's been singing to us too. This whole time we were talking. He's just la 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 la. So cute. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and thank you all for listening to us. This is such a good episode. It's so good to be back together, and have a great week. We'll see you next time.